Hey everybody, welcome back to Chortle Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Jake, and with me as always, the Stream King, the Far Cry guy, the man who conquered fear. I don't have a good one for fear yet.
One sleepy boy.
One sleepy boy, Steven. Hey everybody. Steven, say hey. How are you?
Hey, it's been a long weekend.
It's been a long weekend.
It's been a long year. You know what, everybody? I'm 26 years old. It's been a long life.
I'm 26 years old. It's been a long life. It's been a long life. Steven had a late night and then a long day. We're here. I had to call him, I think, 7 times.
7 times, yeah.
Yeah. It was great. So anyway.
But I'm here.
He's here, ladies and gentlemen. He's in his sunglasses. He's ready to roll.
I couldn't find my sunglasses, so I have to keep my stupid eyes open this whole time. It's gonna be great. We're gonna be able to like be all sneaky and just sleep the whole time. I want to be here. I
Steven,
do.
Have you ever seen New Girl? Yeah, I'm sure you've seen episodes, but have you seen like the whole series or anything?
I've seen one episode.
So there's a great episode where Schmidt, he and later in seasons he has a daughter. All right, and there's an episode where he is trying to get their daughter Ruth to go to sleep, and the whole episode nothing's working. Finally, something works. It gets her to sleep, and like the moment she falls asleep, everybody's like, "All right, Schmidt. Well, I guess you can go like take a nap or something." And they look over at him, and he is eyes wide open, but he's dead asleep. And so that's going to be Steven in a few minutes. Hopefully.
That was going to be me, but without the child.
But without the child. Ladies and gentlemen.
Instead of a child, I have a delicious can of Dr. Pepper cream soda and Doritos. No relation. These are what I had in the kitchen.
I still can't find Diet Dr. Pepper cream soda or regular cream soda? Okay.
A Diet Dr. Pepper cream soda. Anna found 3 12-packs.
I can't find Diet Dr. Pepper cream soda to save my life. Dr. Pepper cream soda, I have some in my fridge right now. Fine, great, whatever.
Oh, you settled?
I can't find it. I have gone, I have looked. It doesn't exist anymore. But ladies and gentlemen, that's not what we're here to talk about. This is Chortle Cast, the official podcast of Chortle Games. We talk about video games, TV shows, movies, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. And we've got a great show for you this week. We're going to talk about, we now know a lot more about the PS5 backwards compatibility. We're going to talk about Xbox, xCloud, maybe working somehow. It might be coming to iOS. And then we're going to talk about the Watch Dogs Legion's post-launch roadmap. And then we're going to catch up a little bit at the end. We're going to talk about what we've been playing. I've been playing Vampire, and Steven's been playing Genshin Impact. So if any of those topics interest you, be sure to stick around because we are going to talk all about it.
Have we ever had just an okay show? You're always like, we got a great show for you. Has it ever not been great?
I think.
Have we?
I'm going to say no. It's never been okay. It's always been exceptional.
Okay.
There you go. Speaking of exceptional, Xbox is making xCloud work on iOS. They're promising that it'll be coming in 2021 via a direct browser-based solution. And so basically to get to the heart of it, some people inside Xbox, there was a meeting and Phil Spencer said that hang on. I wanted to get the full quote. Here we go. All right, whatever. I'm just going to read the article. This is coming from IGN. Adam Bankhurst wrote this. So Microsoft is reportedly working on a direct browser solution that will allow it to bring its xCloud gaming service to the iOS and iPadOS devices in 2021. Apparently, this was also reported by Business Insider and The Verge. But Xbox head Phil Spencer revealed the news during a recent internal all-hands meeting. He stated that we will absolutely end up on iOS. We'll end up on iPhones, iPads with Game Pass. So the newly announced Amazon Luna is also using a iOS Safari browser to make its packaging work because, again, part of the whole debacle with Fortnite and xCloud on iPad or on iPhones and with Apple has been that Apple wants to have full control of what is they're allowing on their Apple Store or on the App Store. But you can use browser-based apps to kind of get around that, kind of circumvent that. So basically, as long as things are going through the internet browser on the phone, it doesn't have to go through that. So anyway, long story short, Xbox is going to be working on some sort of solution similar to that. This is something also that is an issue for Stadia too. I don't know that has really been mentioned much, but Xbox or not Xbox,
it hasn't by anyone.
Google Stadia, yeah, they have the same issue. I don't know that they're on iPad or iPhone yet, but they also are having this issue with Apple of not being able to just have a service in the App Store because anyway, crazy stuff. So Steven, you're you're a big Xbox Game Pass guy. We talk about all the time. It's the best deal in gaming, but you play on your PC. I don't have a PC. I'm an Apple guy, so I've got all Apple products. So this is great news for me, and I was real upset when this first news came out because it was like, man, for me, I'm not really looking to get an Xbox, and I'm not really quite ready yet to commit to buying a PC. But if this works out and I can play Xbox games on my iPad through the cloud, I might be getting Games Pass, just to kind of have in my back pocket to have. What would be really great too is if this didn't just work for iPad and iPhone, but could eventually go to like the Apple TV or iMac and be something that I can use across all of my devices. That could be really, really exciting. And I hope that's kind of where we're headed. And I hope this works out. And I hope it's not super inconvenient. I haven't really looked into what Luna is doing because it seems like they have a similar browser-based solution. But as long as it's just like I click on an app, because like I don't know if you know, well, Steven, you're not an iPhone user, but some people may not know this. You can actually create your own app icon that is just a shortcut to a browser, or not a browser, but like a website. So that was something I used to when I first when there weren't a lot of apps for stuff. Like one of my first like loves about my first iPhone was Smash. I guess Smash for the Wii was coming out around that same time that I got my iPad or no, my iPhone for my first iPhone. And what I loved about it was I could go on the internet on my phone and look at the website page where they were constantly updating like, hey, this song's going to be in it, or hey, a new character's here. I forget what website I had found that was just like constantly every day they had an update. And I remember I would check it on my phone all the time. And I made a little icon so I could just hit straight into it. But anyway, I'm curious what they're going to do with that, and hopefully it won't be too inconvenient. What do you think about all this, Steven? Any thoughts from you?
I hope that you guys get it, but I have a PC. It doesn't affect me either way. I'm trying to not get into the mobile gaming scene. But as we'll talk about later, it's slowly happening a little bit. But I mean, even if I was in your position, I would kind of just be like, that's cool, but also I don't want that freedom because I'll abuse it.
Yeah, it could be dangerous for me. It's one of those things that like if this falls through, I'm gonna be like, oh dang, like that would have been nice. But even if it does work, I'm not just gonna be like, oh my gosh, yes, this is great. Like I'll probably get X Pass. I assume you don't have to pay an extra service for xCloud, but I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But I'll probably end up doing it. But it's not something I'm just dying for. But if it was conveniently presented to me, I would probably take it, which is kind of what Xbox has been trying to be this whole generation is just convenience. How can we make this easy? How can we make people fall into our ecosystem and, keep it going? Speaking of making it easy, one of the things that has been very easy and very well communicated by the Xbox team has been how backwards compatibility and smart delivery is going to work going from the Xbox One to the Xbox Series X and Series S. And now, as of this week, we finally have some very clear communication from PlayStation about how that's going to work on the PS4 to PS5 side. And to be fair, PlayStation has been saying very vague things up until this point. They've been saying like, oh yeah, most PS4 games are going to work, or, majority of blah, blah, blah.
99%.
99%.
I think is what they've been saying.
Yeah. Which you hear that and you're like, well, that doesn't mean everything. So what is being excluded, right? Well, this week we got a lot of news. I'm going to go through it, but I'm just going to start here. All right. So that's what we've been hearing. Most PS4 games, 99%. We now know that all PS4 games, with the exception of 10, which I will read now, DWVR, which I still don't know what that is. Afro Samurai 2, Revenge of Kuma, Volume 1. These are not playable. These are not playable on the PS5. TT Isle of Man, The Ride on the Edge 2. Shadow Complex Remastered, Robinson The Journey, We Sing, Hitman Go Definitive Edition, Shadwin, Joe's Diner, and my favorite, Just Deal With It. Still don't know what Just Deal With It is, but I absolutely love that it is one of the titles that is not being converted.
Let's have a moment of silence for Joe's Diner.
Yeah, I know, right? Probably, what's funny is like probably at least to me, and this is there's one game I know on this list, and it's what I'm about to say. Probably the biggest profile game that is it is on this list is Hitman Go, which is like started out as a mobile game, is not like a big deal, I don't think. I think it has.
I feel like I've heard the name Shadow Complex, but I can't put my finger on what it is.
Right, and it's a remastered, so it's an already older game. I don't know. Anyway, I don't think there's any official word on like why these 10 can't. I know I've seen some tweets floating around that say that 2 of these have marketing deals with Xbox. So it's possible that they just had no interest in creating or working with Sony to make it something that can play on the PS5.
Freaking Joe sold out to Phil Spencer, so they can't have his diner on PS5.
Didn't want.
Now what am I going to play?
What am I going to do? Whose diner am I going to go to?
Whose diner can I go to? Joe?
You're gonna have to go.
Sold out.
You're gonna have to settle with Jack Steiner or something. I don't know. But anyway, I have conflicting feelings about this. On one end, it's like, oh my gosh, what this is no big deal. Like what who and I apologize if you do care about any of these games, but like who cares about any of these games? Like this is not this isn't Last of Us Part 2 is not coming to the PS5 or whatever. I hate it for anybody who is excited about these 10 games or like wishes they could go back and play these. But on the other side, I'm like, there's 1,000+ games on this system.
Yeah.
What you couldn't just go the full 100? You know what I mean? Like why, you couldn't get these 10. So and again, we don't know why none of this could work, but
I would love
to
hear the reason.
Right? Me too. Because
there's literally like nothing that connects any of those games. like it's such a weird assortment.
I don't know. I really don't get it. But whatever. It is what it is. For me, I'm excited because I've always kind of had the stance of an old game is old, right? I'm mostly worried about live service games, so like Avengers, Destiny, those sort of things. I want to make sure those are working on my next generation system. But like majority of these games, that we have on this system, I'm probably not going to go back to
Right.
unless there's just like a really specific thing that happens or, like most of the time when I go back to something that I played as like a kid, like this Mario Sunshine's a great example. Like by the time I get an inkling to play that, like I really need a remaster because it's going to
Yep.
have been so long and there have been so many advancements. It's just not going to be worth trying to go back and play and enjoy.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Anyway, very strange. But to talk more about backwards compatibility, so now we know, basically all PS4 games will be compatible with the PS5. There will be a boost mode on the PS5 for some PS4 games. It's going to be like the top 100. So, I expect like Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, Spider-Man, which obviously we know Spider-Man's getting a PS5 version of its game.
Right.
But you expect some of the bigger first party with maybe a couple third party titles are going to get this boosted mode. And they don't really go into what exactly is being boosted. I'm sure it's going to be different across all of these titles. I know it's going to be running at a higher frame rate, smoother frame rate, but basically just general improvements, not something like someone went in and reworked the graphics. It's just going to be performance improvements, which is exciting. The one other thing about we now know that all but 10 PS4 games are going to run, but they do warn that some games may still experience errors. So you may be playing a game that is compatible with the PS5, but it could have some issues. Hopefully, it won't be any like system breaking issues. But that is something to be aware of and be wary of. The PSVR is going to also be backwards compatible. There's this real weird thing about the camera, though. So, Steven, when they announced the PS5, they showed an HD camera that comes with it. One would think, oh, that will be the new VR camera, right? No,
Right.
that is not the case. If you want to play VR, you have to, and they're giving this away for free, but you have to get a dongle to adapt your PSVR camera that you currently have on your PS4. You have to get a dongle to adapt that to the PS5. So don't. So in other words, if you're a VR person from the PS4, if you want to have to play PSVR on the PS5, you need to get this dongle. Don't pre-order a PlayStation 5 camera because it's apparently not going to be used for VR. Now, who's to say that PSVR 2 isn't going to use that camera? It very well could. I don't know.
Yeah.
So maybe it won't be a complete waste of money later. But anyway, just a weird, interesting thing there. There was one other piece I wanted to talk about. There's a thing about how you upgrade your PlayStation games. But Steven, what do you think about all this? I'm gonna have to look up that because I assumed it would be in that article. IGN posts these articles that are like everything you need to know about this topic, and then they neglect things. So, Steven, what are your overall thoughts on all this?
My overall thoughts are that IGN really needs to get their act together because they've really been dropping the ball. They've been letting us down.
I'm telling you
on podcast. Good to hear about the list of games because that's more than I expected.
Right.
As far as like games working, I really expected there to be a lot more discrepancy. So that's good news.
Yeah, that's definitely been a somewhat concern of mine, but again, it's for me, it's been like, games within the last year that I'm still kind of playing. I'd like to make sure that that gets all switched over.
Right. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about it because I do have probably a good few game. Well, there are a significant amount of games that I will want to be able to play. Like Division, for example, is
Right.
It was confirmed back at Ubisoft Forward that it would be compatible.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, they had confirmed like, no, we're not making a PS5 version, which is really strange because that honestly probably means that they're just making Division 3 and we're just all twiddling our thumbs till that's done. But everyone was wondering, like, what does that mean? Like, are we not going to be able to play it? So it's just nice to know that I can stop worrying about that, because now that we have a definitive list of games, if I suddenly think of another game, I can just think of that list and just be like, okay,
It wasn't Afro Samurai.
It wasn't Afro Samurai.
Right. So the only other thing I was going to mention, and I guess there's not as much information. Well, I think there is more information out there. I just can't find it. But they also talked about how, moving games from your PS4 to your PS5, you can do a Wi-Fi data transfer. So if you're not selling your PS4 right now, if you're planning on keeping that for a little while, I'm probably at this point going to wait till my PS5 is here. And I'm probably going to do this Wi-Fi data transfer before I actually try to sell it. But you can do the Wi-Fi data transfer. If you've purchased a digital game, you can re-download it from the PSN on the PS5. Supposedly, if it does have a boosted mode, there are options to download the boosted mode when you do that. So you can get kind of a PS5 version of it, if you will. You can also do this with physical games, but it's a little bit more complicated. You have to put in the disc, and then you have to go to the website, and there are instructions out there for that. And I did not read it because I have been buying on digital games for a long time now. So I was like, I'm not even going to bother with this. But anyway, very exciting. I'm glad to hear. This is all good news to me, right? None of this is bad. And I think they've handled this well, where now that it's here, everybody's good. You know what I mean? We've all been griping and been a little concerned leading up to this point because we've had very vague communication. But now that we know, it's not a big deal. And honestly,
it very much feels like, hey, you guys can calm down now. It just feels like they've put our minds at ease.
Yes. I love how well they've communicated it, though. It is very detailed. If you have any questions, they definitely answered it there. And you can dive deeper into that if we didn't talk about something specific that you were hoping to have answered. But I think how they did it is right. Speaking of things that we will hope will be done right, let's talk about Watch Dogs Legion post.
Well, first, just something that I wanted to mention, because you'd asked me hey, is there anything you want to mention in the show? I just remembered this while we were talking about the PS4 Xbox stuff. I saw an article that was posted, I think, on GameSpot. It was on a reputable source, but according to some insider or analyst or whatever, the percentage of next gen pre-orders are 72% in favor of Sony right now. So that means, according to this, 72% of next gen console pre-orders are PlayStations.
All right, I'm looking at Games Radar. PS5 commands more than 80% of next gen pre-orders, according to a survey.
Oh, is it up now?
Wow. I'm looking to see. I'm looking to see if they just have the full data points.
And the only reason I bring that up is because I wanted to kind of hear if you had heard about that or not, because I've seen this article in a couple places. I can't remember where I saw it, but I don't follow many. I don't really follow any like wacko places that spread fake gaming news. So I feel like it was probably GameSpot or something.
Yeah, this is
that I saw that on.
I know I've seen a couple things like this, and all of them have been overwhelming. That I know I've seen some that were interest based, okay, based on what you've heard now, which are you most interested in pre-ordering? And it was always the PS5 was a good 15-20% ahead of everything else. And then
so it's saying that basically it's just gauging interest, survey, stuff like that.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and actually, I think I saw the same thing you're talking about because this article here is also talking about how there's the digital only version of the PS5, the discless version, but then on the Xbox you got the Xbox Series S, which is kind of the cheaper option. On this this survey also says that people are buying the Series X and the disc PS5 over the digital and the Series S. Now, I personally think that is because of limited supply of those.
Yep.
Because
I would say that's accurate.
I believe it was like an 8-to-2 ratio of the cheaper consoles were the two. There was a lot less supply of that. So I kind of think that has more to do with it than people's, like if people had the option, which I kind of hate because that's what, people are going to go into business meetings and they're going to be like, well, look, people were buying the the more expensive version, the disc version.
Yeah, it's one of those things that context is very important.
Yeah, like physical is gonna, is still king, and it's like, no, because I would have gotten a digital only version if I could have gotten one, but I could not get one day one, so I was like, nope, not gonna waste my time here. So, anyway. Speaking of places I am going to waste a lot of my time, let's talk about Watch Dogs. So Watch Dogs launches later this month. We're very excited about it here on Chortle Games. I know I am excited. Steven, this is one of your games that you're looking very forward to. This week, they've announced a little bit more about their post-launch DLC roadmap, which is going to include some online multiplayer and single-player content. And lots of stuff. So I'm just going to talk through it. So they have an announcement trailer, which is very cool. I highly recommend going to watch through that. I'm glad I watched it before I read any articles because I was super excited about some of the stuff they talked about. Trying to get to in order. I guess I'm just going to do it this way. So one of the biggest things is they. Okay, here we go. So they announced an open world online mode that's going to be coming in December. No, okay, all right. I just I'm not a big fan of IGN's writing anymore. I really am just not. Okay, so I'm going to start here. One of the big things. So we know about Aiden Pierce, right? Aiden is coming as a playable character. They announced 3 other playable characters that you can play as in the game. The first one is Wrench from Watch Dogs 2, which as soon as they announced Aiden, I think I text you, Steven, and Brody and Miles in our friend group. And I was just like, guarantee you Wrench is coming. It's like, Wrench is coming. Wrench is going to be here. He was very popular in 2. I'm honestly shocked that Marcus did not come. In this, I was fully expecting Marcus to be here and T-Bone. Yeah. I said the T-Bone because T-Bone's been in both games. That was kind of crazy.
He's probably dead, honestly.
I mean, he's lucky he's lived as long as he did, right?
This game's got a bit of a time jump, and Aiden is starting to look a little bit wilted. So
Aiden looks very rough in this. So. Anyway, then the next is a newcomer. The other 2 are newcomers here. So the first, her name is Mina, and it's very strange. I'm trying to see if I can find if they have a description here for her. All they said in the trailer, they showed her, and she kind of looks like, Steven, you've played Control, your favorite character in all of Remedy's work, Jesse Faden, right? One of her costumes has her like in this bodysuit with like all these wires and like wires connected to her head. That's what Mina looks like, except she was blonde. She didn't have red hair. But supposedly she can communicate with technology via her brain. So she's a technopath or whatever. That's all they said. So who knows what that means or how that's going to play out? But there you go. She's basically a superhero. So that's that. But then
she looks kind of like, that Rainbow Six Siege operative
It's out of my
that can make the light projection. Why can't I remember her name? Whatever.
It's not Mina, is it?
About. No, it's not Mina.
I don't know who you're talking about. But then the next character, and I personally think this is really, really dope. But the next character, her name is Darcy, and she is a member of the Assassin's Brotherhood. And this is the first full crossover between Assassin's Creed universe and Watch Dogs. Obviously,
the fact that they said that pisses me off because that's just not true.
there has always been like theories, right? But
no, Aiden literally takes down the Abstergo CEO. That happens in Watch Dogs 1. That is canon.
Oh, well, I don't know. This is just what they've said. This is what they said in their article, in their show. I don't know, whatever. Don't look at me. I'm just the messenger here.
I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at them.
They're the ones that keep
know your own property.
The unfortunate thing about all of this is they've said that this is merely fan service. This is not supposed to be considered canon. But
of course,
I'm just excited because ever since playing like Assassin's Creed 2 and going on and doing some of the futuristic stuff, I've always wanted to see, and I think a lot of fans would say this, I've always wanted to see what would a modern day assassin look like, right? What would a modern day, with all the tech that Abstergo had, what would they look like? And so now we have Darcy, and she is going to play as a modern day assassin. So she looks really cool. She's got like some neon assassin stuff on her. I can't wait to see what her hidden blade, how that works. I'm assuming that's going to be a big part of her gameplay. So,
well, I think in her picture you can see it.
You can. So, and it looks very techy. It's just, I'm excited. All right. I'm just real excited. Okay. Darcy is probably going to be who I will like. She's going to be on my team. I don't know if you can really main anybody, but she is going to be somebody who I play a lot of.
Right.
But anyway, so that's very exciting. Let me scroll down. So let's talk about some of the online stuff that they're going to be bringing in. All right. So so Watch Dogs Legion Online, they are going to be doing some of the similar to Watch Dogs 2 online multiplayer where people can kind of drop in and drop out of your world. There's going to be live events and different things that are just going to start happening that you can kind of just jump into. But they are adding some new activities, like they're adding a spider bot PvP mode, where everyone.
It's not the kind of spider bot you may be thinking, though. It's the small.
It's the baby spider bots. It's not like the Watch Dogs 1 giant robot destroying the city thing.
Oh, that would have been so cool.
I thought that I thought they continued that in Watch Dogs 2. They never did any of the VR drug stuff in Watch Dogs 2.
Which is such a shame because the VR drug, whatever you want to call it, the digital trips, those were actually, like, if you pay attention, they were a step into Aiden's psyche. They all had something to do with Aiden as a character. Like one of them, and of course I'm writing the Watch Dogs script right now. It's almost done. I've been saying that for like 2 weeks, but I'm literally just trying to find how to do the ending.
Right.
Is where I am. But one of them is called Alone. And it's the one where you're stealthing through the city and you're trying to not get spotted by these people who are like basically drones, but the villain looking over everything is Nikki, your sister. And when you like think about it, that is basically his inner nightmare, being worried that Nikki is going to see who he really is. And it's him trying to, because he's worried that, like, he's afraid of being alone and losing the one person he cares about. Very interesting stuff. Like digital trips are super underrated. Yeah, like they've got a lot of depth to them. So I hope that we get. You can't really do that to the same extent in Legion because there's no main character, so you can't really have it to that extent. But just wanted to talk for a second about how digital trips were actually way cooler than we thought. They were so super cool without even getting deep. They were just fun. Yeah. Spiderbot was there. There's no depth. It's just you're just a big spider. wrecking everything. There, that's it.
There's
no
a
hidden message.
there's a tactical ops mission. They're adding some. They didn't call it a raid, but it's basically a raid. Like they mentioned it as a 4-player, highly cooperative missions that you can do, which is kind of exciting. I know, Steven, you didn't play any Watch Dogs 2, right?
I tried it on multiple occasions, couldn't get into it, hated the story so much that I just basically gave up and swore to never play it again.
Right. The drop in, drop out online is cool, but can be it's very annoying when people just come in and troll you.
Yep.
But I'm hoping that with this, and you and I both playing this, and hopefully both going to enjoy this more than 2.
Right.
At least in your, I enjoyed 2, but not as much as 1. Hopefully we can co-op on some missions and do some things together.
Right.
And I think having friends who you're going to want to play with instead of just dropping in with randoms is going to be a lot more fun. But it's exciting to see that they're kind of expanding the online. I do think it's kind of crazy. So all these online modes that we're talking about, and there's more if you want to go watch their video. They listed a lot of stuff, but it is a lot of the same stuff from 2 with a couple new modes. This online, and they're calling it expansion. It's free. This online mode isn't really launching until December. So 2 months after the game initially launches, most people will probably be jumping to their PS5 to play. It's just crazy that they didn't have this ready for launch. I'm not upset about it. I'm going to be diving through the story mode, and I'm going to be leveling up my characters and building a team, right, and getting all my characters together. So I guess in a way, it's nice that we can all play the game, we can get our experience, and then come December when we're either all dropping out of this game or finishing up, we've got our dream team and we're done. Then we can hey, come see my dream team. Hey, let's work together and go do a raid or something. So hopefully it will give the game a little bit more legs after everyone's kind of enjoyed the single player stuff on their own. So but anyway, all right. Well, that was great. That was the news. Let's catch up a little bit, Steven, on what we've been playing this week. It's spooky time. So Steven's been doing a lot of forward compatible stuff, playing Fear. But I needed my own spooky game to play. And luckily, PlayStation for PS4, PS Plus subscribers, they gave us a spooky game called Vampire, which I still don't know why they named it that, because in the game they say vampire spelled correctly. So I don't know what's up with that, but it is what it is. Played a little bit of it, did a stream of it Friday night. So if you're interested at all in that game and what it's like, you can go watch my stream. It is very good. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it in the stream. And then pretty much once we stopped, I had to go do some other errands. But then I spent a good chunk of Saturday morning before I had to go shoot a wedding, playing through the game. And there's something about it I really, really like. It kind of captures the same. When I played through Witcher 3, I was very conscious of the political aspects of that game. And so I typically like to play political intrigue games where obviously I find whoever I think is right. But in general, I try not to be I don't try to induce conflict. I try to keep everyone happy and everyone alive. And so what's interesting about this game is obviously you're a vampire, and you got all these cool vampire powers and can level up and do all this stuff. You're fighting vampire hunters that are after you, but you're also a doctor. And so you are helping this hospital heal sick. This is all during the Spanish flu. So it's actually very unsettling because a lot of the conversations and a lot of the situations that are happening very much mirror conversations that I'm hearing today with the coronavirus. So it's a little unsettling right now to play through. So if you've been really affected by COVID, maybe don't don't play. But you're a doctor, you're helping people. But like any named character has a role in the story, right? But also any named character you can embrace is what it's called, and basically kill them, suck their blood. And if you kill someone, you can actually see how much experience you'll get from killing a certain person. And so a lot of these characters, you'll meet them and maybe they're sick, maybe they're fatigued, maybe they have bronchitis. Like there's all sorts of medications that you can give them to heal them for different things. And so if you heal them, the blood XP will go up. If you get to know them a little better, everybody has hints that you have to unlock. And some hints you can unlock by literally just talking to them. But some hints you have to maybe follow them around, maybe listen to them talk to somebody else, maybe look around the area and find a note that has some information about that person. Maybe you have to find them in a very specific spot to ask them a question. Basically, just kind of really, invest in that person. Once you unlock all their hints, or every hint you unlock, that gives you more XP. And eventually you have the max XP available for that person. And so you can choose to kill them then and get the maximum XP. Mm-hmm. But you have to be careful because you're trying to maintain order. I think there's 5 districts in the game, and there are pillars of a community who are like main figureheads who, if something happens to them, the district can go critical, and you don't want that to happen because it's a negative part of the game. So you kind of have to manage how healthy a district is. And so the more people you kill, you embrace, obviously the less healthy and more critical that area will get. But you'll have all this XP and can have all these cool powers and do all this great stuff. So it's a very, very interesting game, and I'm still figuring it out. I've only killed one person, and it's actually kind of funny. In the stream, I got so far as I got to the first person that I can embrace. And I chose not to because I was not going to get very much experience from it. And so I was like, let me just see if I can, quickly ramp this guy up. And so I ended up going back to that guy because I kind of determined that he was just not going to go anywhere. Like he was the missing leader of a gang. So like he's already been replaced. He was a horrible person. And so I healed him, got some hints out of him. And I was just like, I kind of determined, I was like, all right, this guy's going nowhere. And so I took him back and I embraced him. But anyway, I've unlocked a lot of powers, and I feel like I've got a good system of fighting down. So at this point, I don't feel like I have to embrace anyone else. But there's one priest in the game who I hate, and I'm ready to embrace him. You have a mesmerize level as well. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of like every person has a level of constitution, and your level of constitution has to meet or be greater than theirs. And so as soon as I think I need like one more level. As soon as I do it, he's gone. I'm going to get all his hints unlocked. I'm going to take his whole path down. Then he's out. I literally talked to him, and he was preaching about the end times. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, cool. Well, what do you suggest we do? And he's like, I suggest we burn everyone. He's like, we need to just burn the city, burn all these people, and let the cleansing fire bring us back to salvation or something. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I was looking for one of my nurses, and I was like, well, have you seen Nurse such and such. And he's like, oh, I hate nurses. Women shouldn't be allowed to do any
We
of
should
this.
burn them.
And I was like, whoa, okay, buddy. Well, let me see. Mesmerize 3. I'll see you in a few days. Like, let me get back to you, sir. So anyway, I don't know that I'm going to have to kill anybody else, but he's one who I'm like, yeah, if that opportunity arises, I'm going to take full advantage of that. But it's really, really good. If you like people management games, if you like kind of the political intrigue that was in Witcher, and I'm sure it's in some other games, like it's very, very interesting. So the combat, the gameplay is pretty good. But I'm really in it for like the story and kind of just the idea that I could kill anyone and it just like really mess up the story is kind of just fun to see. So I don't know. It's been very cool. Highly recommended, especially if you're already a PS Plus subscriber. So, but Steven, you've been playing Genshin Impact. I want to hear more about this.
I'm playing it right now.
Are you? That's so fair.
Yeah.
I'm very upset because I've talked about it before that I played it on PS4, and I got to like the first town and I was enjoying what I played. I hadn't had time to sit back and get into it. And so I downloaded it on my iPad mini, and I tried it, and it's not bad on mobile. It's just, that's why I don't play mobile games, because I don't like the touchpad interactions where like you've got a touch screen joystick. Like that just doesn't work for me. But come to find out, as of right now, iOS or I guess any mobile version of it does not have controller support. And that is a huge problem for me. So I'm waiting for that to happen before I continue. But Steven, I've talked enough. What was your experience with it so far?
It's fun. I'm impressed with how it really doesn't too often feel like a mobile game. Aside from unlocking characters, that's about as mobile game as they come.
Right.
But like it doesn't have a lot of the conventions that you would expect from certain mobile games, like time gated playability. Which that's really good news.
Right.
But it's got fun gameplay. I've enjoyed just kind of exploring the world. I'm in probably, of course, the hardest boss fight, or the hardest fight period that I've seen yet. So of course that would happen when I'm expected to talk.
Right.
But the characters seem really cool. The way the elements play with each other in the world is very impressive. Like there's an ice character that I have. I forget his name. He's got an eye patch. My sister has a crush on him. That's really the only bit of information I have on the man.
There is.
Yeah. But he has like his special move, like his ability is that he shoots out like a fan of ice, and it applies like the ice effects when he hits stuff. But what's cool about that is like if he was, you douche, if he was to hit somebody who was on water or just water in general, he would freeze the water and like make a floor out of it. And so there's a lot of that aspect of the world being affected by the elements, like very like universally.
Right. Can you
like
use
if someone's
that
standing
for
in
traversal?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that's something I thought was really neat. And of course you can swim.
Right.
But like if for whatever reason you need to not be swimming, but instead this guy is the worst. Oh my word. If you needed to not be swimming, you could do that. I have. Oh wow, my character's full, so I can't heal him anymore. Are you kidding me?
So,
as in he's full of food.
Are you liking it? You sound like you're
just
like kinda...
I do like it. I don't know what I need to be doing.
Right.
Is kind of the problem. It's confusing. There's just a lot of stuff. I'm like,
it does seem
I couldn't
like
sleep last night. Yeah, I couldn't sleep last night, so I spent a ton of time playing Genshin Impact. But there was a point where I was just running around, in Breath of the Wild when like everyone has that moment when the world just kind of opens up to them and they just start unlocking the shrines or whatever, the mountains.
Right.
I had that moment last night on Genshin. So I was just running around doing all these random events, getting chests, unlocking fast travel locations, blah 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 blah, all that stuff. And there was a lot of cool exploration stuff. Like I climbed a tree. Oh my gosh, I have to leave this guy. He is literally killing everyone. I'm down to one character.
Oh gosh.
But I found this tree, and I just decided I'll just climb this tree, and I found a really this thing that basically allowed me to use devote to this shrine of the gods and upgrade my max stamina or whatever.
Oh, cool.
So there's a lot of exploration and incentive to explore, which is really cool. But by the time the night was over, I apparently had done 3 chapters worth of objectives, and so I was claiming all this stuff, and it was like, oh my gosh, I did a lot of stuff and I had no idea what I was doing. And so there's a lot of that addictive mobile game convention where you are like, wow, I did this, and oh wow, I did this. I get to hit the claim button, and the game gets to be like, you did it, and hands me the crafting material, and it's like, wow, you got 100 crafting material. But it's the whole thing where it's like, too bad you need 10 million crafting material to use this crafting material. Like it's a lot of that repetition, grinding kind of stuff. But I think I'm so early in the game because you don't unlock co-op until I think like adventure rank 15.
Wow.
And I'm adventure rank 10.
Right.
So like I've seen a lot of people say like, I have no idea how this is a mobile game.
Yeah.
And I kind of see where they're coming from, because it definitely has those conventions of mobile games like I've been talking about, but I haven't seen the big catch yet.
Right.
Like I haven't felt like I've needed to spend money. Whereas with games like Tom Clancy's Elite Squad, which I am possibly nearing my breaking point on, because I swear they keep giving Tom Clancy games to the most incompetent developers who just don't know how to make games, don't know how to balance, don't know how to make. Sorry. I have something else to talk about in catch up if we've got the time, because I remembered. But but this game feels like it doesn't have a catch yet, but I'm waiting to get far enough to where I see the catch, to where it's like, oh, I've gotten through the first 20 levels. Now it's costing a ton of materials to do anything, or now it's taking forever to level up. That kind of moment, I haven't gotten there yet, but I know it's coming.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun.
Well, that's all.
It's a pretty game. Exploring's fun. The characters are weird.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So, you talked about the elements, right? And the first character, the character that you pick at the beginning of the game, you go to a statue and you get wind powers.
Right.
Do you unlock more powers for that character?
I think so.
Okay.
That's kind of the impression I'm getting, but I still only have the wind powers. But to me, it's like the wind powers are the best.
Right.
I think
the wind powers are cool. Can you change that character's outfit or look at all?
Apparently you can.
Interesting.
But I have yet to see how to do that.
Interesting.
Like there's a wardrobe thing, but the only thing that it's letting me change
are the wings.
Is the wings.
Yes. Okay.
But I saw it say that like you could change outfits. So maybe I'm just not far enough to get outfits. I don't know.
So that's what I'm confused on too, because you unlock a second character pretty early on. And I played as her, and it was really fun. But I was just curious. It's curious to me that in a game where a big hook, right, is unlocking more characters, getting new characters. Like obviously for those characters to be cool, they have to have unique either abilities or tools or something, that kind of makes them special. But at the same time, it's like if I'm making my own character here, I'd almost rather just play as them and be able to kind of customize them out. So I don't know, but
Right.
I agree with what you said so far. If there's anything I know about Genshin Impact, it's that you really have to put in a lot of time to get to a point where you understand and are really getting to the game, which is unfortunate sometimes, but I need to play. I need to play more of it. Give it more time.
Yeah, I'm excited to actually get to the point where we can stream it now, because it does seem like it'll be fun.
Okay. Well, I might have to struggle on an iPad a little longer to get caught up for you, so we can do that.
Yeah, it's gonna take you some time.
Yeah, just a little.
Because when I say I played it a lot last night, I couldn't sleep, and I got on probably at like 1 a.m. and didn't get off till 6 a.m.
I'm never gonna get to that point.
Which, I mean, all I did was explore.
Right.
If I just followed the quest path, which I probably should do now that I say that out loud.
Right.
I probably would have gotten further. So maybe just do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just ask Austin. He knows everything.
He does. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Chortle Cast. We do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, there's a couple things you can do to help us out. Number one, if you're watching on YouTube, you're already at chortlegames.com. You can like this video, share it with your friends, leave a comment, all that good stuff. You might be watching on Facebook. That's at Chortle Games on Facebook. You can do the same things like share, subscribe, or follow. I think on Facebook's what you do. Whatever. If you hate both of those platforms, you like and follow, Steven says. So there you go. If you don't like to watch our content on either of those platforms, that's where you can watch the podcast. You can also listen to the podcast on Apple Podcast services. But if you don't like those, we're also on Twitter at Chortle Games and twitch.tv/Chortle_games. That's where we live stream and do all that other stuff. What's that you say? We live stream. That's right. The podcast, Chortle Cast, which airs every Monday at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. Is not the only thing we do. We do live streams usually on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, starting around 7 o'clock-ish on most of those days. So the plan for this week, in which sometimes it's even crazier than that, because sometimes we're doing a series called Forward Compatible, where Steven plays through a game that he hasn't played through in 5 years, and we do a review about it.
At least 5 years.
At least 5 years. I'm sorry. This Steven is going through Fear right now. So he's been playing that all week. So we typically have more streams when we're doing a Forward Compatible. So it's kind of a whenever it works out. So Steven will be streaming that. Steven is probably going to stream that Thursday night. And then Friday night of this week, the 16th, is when Ghost of Tsushima Legends comes out. So the hope and the goal is for Steven and I to do a little bit of that on Friday. And then Steven's going to be running the stream on Saturday because I will be shooting a wedding that is far away from me. So anyway, that's going to be it for this week. That's going to be what we're doing for content. But I wanted to talk about something. I forgot to do this at the top of the show, but we're going to talk about it now. Something that we've done here on the channel for at least 2 years now is we take part in this charity event called Extra Life. If you're unfamiliar with Extra Life as a whole, it's a lot bigger than just us. It's this huge video game charity where it basically entices folks to stream for any amount of time, really. But the biggest thing is there's a 24-hour game day where gamers and streamers come together and we stream games, but really, you can stream whatever. I know there's some people that stream like tabletop games and just some people that just stream talk shows. But anyway, we stream for 24 hours to raise money for various children's hospital in the Children's Miracle Network. So we've done this for the last 2 years, a 24-hour live stream where we've raised money for Blair E. Batson Children's Hospital in Jackson, Mississippi, which is our home state. So we are going to continue this tradition. We'll be doing it again this year. I don't think we're actually doing it on game day this year. We typically are doing it on the same day. But if you'll remember this, Stephen, last year, some horrible people. What was the type of attack that it was?
A doxed.
A dox, yeah, or a DOD or something. There was a massive attack on the website on the 24-hour streaming day. So there were a lot of issues. So unintentionally, this is probably going to work out great because we will dodge any of those issues because we are going to do this on a random Saturday. But we are going to be doing our 24-hour live stream on November 20th and 21st. So the bulk of it will happen on the 21st, but it is going to be a 24-hour thing. So we will be starting sometime probably 7 o'clock. We haven't officially decided that, but sometime Friday night, and then 24 hours later, ending on Saturday night, the 21st. So that weekend, we're going to be doing 24-hour live stream. It is a lot of fun. If you haven't been to one of these before, like I said, we're playing games for 24 hours. So right now, I know we're going to play some Cyberpunk. We're going to probably play some Ghost of Tsushima. We've got Hyrule Warriors we're going to get to play. There's all sorts of stuff. We would have just gotten our PS5s. So we're going to be hopefully, yeah, I was going to say hopefully. We would have just gotten our PS5. So, we're going to be playing on those. It's just going to be a lot of fun. It's 24 hours. Steven and I get loopy. And like I said, this is all raising money for kids. So there's going to be a donation link. If you want to give, you can do that. But we don't just ask you to give for nothing, right? There are going to be reward tiers. We have two types of rewards. There are immediate rewards where you can either pie me or Steven in the face, make one of us eat a jalapeno.
Make Jake eat a jalapeno.
We're adding a ASMR reward in there. But then we're discussing it. There was a great reward last year where once we, and then there are goals. So once we hit $250, I had a makeup. Someone came and did my makeup and had me all goofy looking, which was great because that happened within the first 2-3 hours, which I was not expecting. I thought I would make it a lot further than that. Yeah. Anyway, just fun, goofy stuff that, you're going to donate and we're going to do funny things to go along with that. So it's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's something I look forward to every year getting to do.
Definitely.
So it's always hectic. It's always quite crazy, but it's a lot of fun and it's all for the kids. So it's going to be a great time. But anyway, November 20th, 21st, that is when that's going to be happening. We'll give you more details as we get closer to that. But I just wanted to take the time here to kind of officially, we've been talking about it on different streams, but officially kind of announce and talk about that. So anyway, stay tuned for all of that stuff. Be sure to tune in later this week for live streams. Steven, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part.
Absolutely.
Doing all this. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.